All right, so here in example number 2, we're going to factor some more trinomials. They're trying to make it look all complicated because, right, we've got A's and we've got B's. So we've got 2 different variables involved. But this doesn't really change what we have to do. We can't factor out any of the coefficient, right? We can't factor out the 2 or the 3. Right, they're just not a common factor. So we need to take a look at our coefficients of the first term, right, as we have been, and the coefficient of our last term. We have 2, we have 3. And again, we're going to multiply those. So we're going to factor by decomposition. So we need 2 numbers that multiply to 6 and add to -7. So I know that they're going to be both negative because they're multiplying to a +6, but they're adding together to be a negative number. And I just so happen to know that -6 and -1 fill that role quite nicely. So let's decompose that middle term. Now, you may be wondering if the order matters for how we split up that middle term. We'll take a look at that momentarily once we finish it off. We'll see if it changes our answer or not. So let's take a look at the first part there. We can factor out, we've got an A in both of them. They're both even coefficients. We can factor out a 2A. So that leaves us with A minus 3B. And then we look at the second part here. And we definitely, hopefully, factor something out to get an A minus 3B over here. Take a look, there's no coefficient on the first term, so we can't factor out any sort of numbers. We look at the first term, there's an A, there's no A in the second term, so we can't do anything with that. There's a B in both terms, so we can factor out a B. Now, both those terms happen to be negative, so let's factor out a negative B. So if we take negative AB divided by negative B, we are left with a positive A, as we hoped. If we have a negative 3B squared, when we divide out a negative B, we're left with, oh, I made a mistake. This is positive 3B. So if we factor out, if we factor out a negative B from our positive 3B squared, we should get a negative 3B as we had hoped. So when we bring that all together, we'll have 2A minus B, right? So these two pieces go together, and then we take our bracket stuff from before as our other factor. So let's see what happens if we were to reverse the bit here in the middle. So if we had 2A squared minus AB minus 6AB plus 3B squared. So again, we group the first part and the second half. The first part we can factor out a 2A. We're left with A minus B. And the second part we can factor out we factor out 3B. And we can factor out a negative 3B. And we're left with 2a plus b minus b. Hold on, I made a mistake. We can't factor a 2a out of this first part. There's no 2 in that last term. We can only factor out an a, left with a 2a in there. So we get a minus 3b, 2a minus b, which is the exact same answer. So that answers the question. Doesn't matter how we decompose, not particularly, at least not in this case. Generally, when we decompose, we want to try to keep things together, right? If for example, there was like a 9 involved here, we would keep that with a 3, right? Because 9 and 3 go together. 9 and 2 don't particularly play nice together. So you have to be kind of selective in how you do it. You'll try it out. If you get an answer that works, great. If you don't, try something else.